So I think, yeah, 1 second. We'll be making a start in just a second. So if you just make yourself comfortable, as normal, it's being shared via YouTube. The YouTube live streams on at the moment. So everybody's microphone and camera should be off anyway. I'll just check that here. 1 second. Okay. Yes, I've just switched everybody's mics and cameras off. And if anytime you get disconnected, you can come back onto Zoom. How I do have to admit you back into the class sometimes if I'm in meditation as well. I might not see it. So you can also log on through YouTube as well. So if I get disconnected for any reason, then I will be joining straight away back onto the session. 1 second. Just setting something up. And so for those who are new or joining us through the live stream, meditation is just simply bringing our attention to our innermost core. So normally our attention moves to our thoughts, our emotions, to sense impressions from the world, and then through the senses. So we're now meditation is bringing our attention inwards. First, we initially focus maybe on a particular, say, object, the breath, or some, chakra, or some part of the body, or some sound. But then it's deeper to bring your attention into your natural state of being, the natural sense of presence or existence or awareness within oneself. And so in today's technique, we'll be using 3 different techniques. First, starting with the breath, awareness of the breath, just watching the natural breath at the nostril area. Then the third eye technique, where we focus our attention at the point in between the eyebrows. And then finishing, where we can drop using any of the techniques and simply just allow our attention to rest in that natural state of meditation, into our natural sense of existing or existence, awareness, present. So just making yourself comfortable now. If you need to use any blankets, cushions, please do so. Minimizing your distractions, maybe switching your phone off or putting it on silent. Just closing your eyes in your own time. If you sit up and keep your spine straight, that would be preferable. And so as you close your eyes, just first bringing your attention to the nostril area. So as you close your eyes, just first bringing your attention to the nostril area. And as you inhale, you'll feel a sensation of air coming in through the nostrils as you inhale. And as you exhale, you feel that sensation of air coming back out the nostrils. So initially, you may take some conscious breath in and out and observe the sensation of the breath. However, is to just observe the breath as it is, moment to moment, to see that the breath is naturally occurring by itself. The breath is naturally coming in and going out in its own rhythm. You don't have to consciously change your breathing in any way, alter, hold your breathing in any way, or elongate your breathing in any way. We just simply bring our attention to the nostril area and just simply watching. As you breathe in, you can feel a sensation of air coming in through the nostril. You'll feel that sensation of air touching the inner nostrils as you inhale and exhale. And just being attentive, just being aware of them, sensations in the inner nostrils. Just watching the breath coming in and watching the breath going out. And each time you notice your attention starts to move to some thought, when you notice your attention, first recognize your attention is not with the breath. Your attention may be caught up in some thinking, some emotion, some other sensation in the body, or some other sound or sensory experience. So when you notice your attention is not with the breath, in that moment, just take a step back and just observe that experience that you're having in the moment. That particular thought that may be appearing, or emotion, or other sensation in the body, or sound, or sense impression. Just observe that for a moment. Also, you may be aware of a part of your own identity, part of your mind, identifying with that particular thought. Maybe it's creating a story, a narrative around that particular thought chain, or emotion, or sense impression. Just to observe that as well. Normally, this inner narrative and these thought patterns are unconsciously occurring, and we allow our attention to run into these thought patterns, emotional patterns, inner narratives. But now we start to take a step back and just to consciously observe it in the same way we can observe the breath, the same way we're observing just our thoughts, these thoughts appearing within us, emotions, sensations, impressions from the senses. Just to observe them, observe any part of you which may be identifying with that particular thought, emotion, experience, or maybe reacting certain unpleasant experiences, thoughts, and emotions. A part of ourselves is trying to push away, or pleasant ones we're trying to hold on to. Just observing this, if this is occurring within oneself, not analyzing it, not judging it in any way, even if a part of ourselves is identifying and reacting to different experiences. But just observing that this is occurring within oneself. We're bringing our conscious awareness to these unconscious patterns, and then slowly bringing your attention back to the breath, slowly bringing your attention back to the nostril area. Again, observing the breath coming in and out. So the breath is an anchor to center your attention again. When your attention becomes scattered, you become first aware of where your attention has moved to, aware of any reaction to these thought patterns, experiences, and then slowly bring our attention back to the nostril area. And again, watch the breath coming in and out, the breath flowing in its natural rhythm. And you don't have to do anything. You need to just simply just observe, simply just watch. And the deeper you go into it, you recognize there's a natural awareness. It's not something you have to even watch or be aware of. There's a natural sense of just being aware. Wherever your attention is, there's a sense of awareness. So just watching the breath coming in and out. Maybe you feel the breath in the left nostril or the right nostril or both the nostrils, feeling where you, sensing where you feel the breath the most, the sensation of the breath. Just allowing your attention to focus at the space where you feel the breath the most in the inner nostrils, the left nostril or right nostril, or both the nostrils, lower down the nostrils and the upper lip, or higher up the nostrils. Where do you feel the sensation of the breath the most? Just allow your attention to sort of focus in on that space without creating too much tension, in a relaxed but attentive way. Watching the breath coming in and out in its own rhythm, in its own time. And as you watch the breath in this way, naturally the mind starts to slow down. attention becomes more concentrated on the breath. And as the thoughts slow down and the attention stays with the breath, naturally start to feel a sense of calmness in the body and mind. And also your energy starts to become concentrated. Your attention starts to become concentrated on the breath and into the present moment. Being aware of our present moment experience then allows us to go deeper, recognizing our inner presence. The breath coming and going, and the perception of the breath occurring within us, within our presence, within our awareness, within our inner space. There's this perception of the breath coming in and out. There's this perception of the sensation that it creates in the nostrils. That deeper aspect of oneself is even aware of the movement of attention. Is the attention with the breath, or is it with some other thought or experience? So each time you recognize your attention is with some thought or some other sensation or sense experience, not judging it, not needing to analyze it in any way, but just see it as it is. Just a particular movement of thought or experience within one's inner space, within one's presence, within one's awareness. And normally there's a part of our identity, part of our conditioned mind, which may be judging, analyzing, discriminating between thoughts and emotions. With certain thoughts and emotions, you may try to hold on to. Unpleasant ones, you might try to push away. So just see if this reaction, identification and reaction is occurring within oneself. Is there a part of the identity which is creating a narrative around certain thoughts and emotions? And you start to become more self-aware of different patterns of thoughts, different patterns of beliefs, different memories, different emotional patterns that may be playing within oneself. Normally unconsciously they're playing these patterns of thoughts and emotions from our conditioning. Start to bring conscious awareness to them, and then slowly bring your attention in your own time, bringing your attention back to the nostrils, back to the breath. And so not only your concentration deepens on the breath and your energy center, your attention deepens on the breath, and you also feel a sense of calmness in the mind and body as a full slowdown. Also, each time your attention moves to the unconscious thoughts and habitual thoughts and emotions, is an opportunity for you to become aware of where your attention is normally going to when we're not attentive, what type of thoughts they're moving to, what type of emotions. We can also go a layer beyond that and see the sense of identity, which is interacting, the sense of me, I, as a separate person, and how that selects certain thoughts and emotions, judges, analyzes, reacts to different memories, emotions, thoughts, and a deeper part of ourselves is aware of this sense of identity as well, and how it reacts to thoughts and emotions and experiences. So we're just looking into our inner reality, looking into what's happening within us. There's no distraction. Even the thoughts are not a distraction. It's an opportunity to become aware of what's occurring within oneself. And then each time, otherwise you lose yourself in them thoughts and emotions and in the inner narrative. So each time you be aware of them, and then you slowly bring your attention back to the breath. As you can come to with practice through into a deeper state of awareness, then you can simply just watch thoughts coming and going, watch emotions coming and going, watching even the sense of identity coming and going, and still be in that unchanging space of awareness, presence within oneself without getting caught up continually in the patterns. But now just keep coming back to the breath, centering back into the breath. Certain thoughts and emotions may keep coming up, may have a strength to them, that they keep pulling the attention. And underlying that pull is maybe a sense of our identity, of our self-image, our sense of I, which is has some investment in them, particular thoughts or emotions. Just be aware of that. It's invested in certain beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and so they have a strong pull of the attention. Just to be aware of that. And so now we'll be moving to the third eye meditation. And so if you wish to continue just with the breath, if you're new to meditation and wish to just be aware of the breath during this session, you can do. If not, you can follow the instructions for the third eye meditation. And also, as you practice the third eye meditation, if you wish to come back to the breath at any point, please do so. And so now just bringing your attention to the point in between the eyebrows, bringing your attention to the point in between the eyebrows, and initially still aware of the breath. But as you breathe in, you're feeling the breath as a flow of energy, a flow of life force energy. So as you breathe in, you're feeling that life force energy moving up the nostrils with the inhalation and moving to the point in between the eyebrows as you inhale. And as you exhale, just allowing your attention to rest at the space in between the eyebrows and feeling the energy build up, the energy of the breath build up at this space in between the eyebrows. So with your attention at the point in between the eyebrows, as you breathe in, feeling the breath as a flow, visualizing as a flow of energy moving up to the point in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, just allowing your attention to rest at this space in between the eyebrows and feeling the energy deepen and move inwards from the space in between the eyebrows. Just visualizing the breath as a flow of life energy. That life energy moving up to the point in between the eyebrows as you inhale, and then deepening and resting the energies and attention as you exhale at the point in between the eyebrows. As you go deeper into this visualization of life force energy moving up to the point in between the eyebrows, you can also feel energy moving from the base of the spine, moving up through the energy system, moving into this point in between the eyebrows as you inhale. You can feel that rising of energy through the nostrils and through the energy channel up to the point in between the eyebrows. And then as you exhale, just allowing your attention and energy to rest at the space in between the eyebrows. And as you place your attention at the point in between the eyebrows and visualize the life force energy moving up to this point, just being aware of any sensations you can feel at this point in between the eyebrows, maybe some tingling sensation, or maybe feeling your attention is being drawn into the space in between the eyebrows, maybe some spiraling or some color may appear. And then when you feel sufficiently that your attention has sort of rested at this space in between the eyebrows, then you can let go of visualizing the breath, the flow of energy, and then instead just allow your attention to rest at the space in between the eyebrows. So when you feel your attention is sort of centered at this space in between the eyebrows, you can stop visualizing the breath coming in and the breath as a flow of energy, but just allow your attention just to rest now at the space in between the eyebrows and feeling the energy spiraling at the space in between the eyebrows and feeling your attention being drawn into the space in an alert and attentive way, but not creating too much tension, not focusing too hard. Just a gentle gaze, a gentle attention at the space in between the eyebrows, a gentle looking, inward looking into the space in between the eyebrows, being the third eye, the eye which perceives our inner reality and connects us to our inner dimension of space within ourselves. The outer eye sees the outer space, the third eye sees the inner space and the inner realities and connects us to the formless dimensions within oneself. Outside we see form, light and form, object. Inside we connect into the formless, whilst also seeing the form of thought and emotion and projections, but ultimately going beyond them forms of thought and projection and seeing the unchanging space within oneself. Just allowing your attention to rest at the space in between the eyebrows, feeling your attention drawn in there, gently gazing inwards, and feeling your attention moving from the third eye into the center of the brain, to the pineal gland. Just feeling your attention moving from this space and feeling as though you're looking inwards into the center of the brain, and then looking from the center of the brain into the entire body, being aware of the different sensations in the body as you look inwards from the third eye, being aware of thoughts as you look inwards from the third eye, being aware of thoughts, sensations, being aware of the body, and then connecting to that sense of space, connecting to that sense of space in which these sensations of the body come, that space in which the body is held, that space in which thoughts come and go. Trying to connect to that formless dimension within oneself, that unchanging sense of space, infinite boundless space within oneself, in which thoughts come, sensations come, experiences come. So looking inwards from this point in between the eyebrows, looking into oneself, into the center of the brain, looking into the body, looking at thoughts, sensations, and then connecting to that space in which thoughts, sensations come and go. Just feeling a deep sense of expanse within oneself. Feeling a sense of space within oneself, which is, there's no boundary to, there's no limitation of the body, of thought. And within this sense of space, being aware of the movement of form, the movement of thought appearing, the movement of different sensations, sense impressions. And just feel as though you're looking from a higher perspective, you're looking inwardly within oneself, and you're looking and observing these thoughts coming, observing emotions coming, observing sensations coming, observing thoughts of the past, the future, observing the thoughts of one's identity and our inner narratives of who we are. And just observing this from the third eye and observing it as we're watching a picture, just like we're watching a picture upon a projection. And there's these flashing images, flashes of light on that projector, showing different objects and forms. And then these objects and forms creating a sense of time, space, creating stories, projections. In the same way, our thoughts, emotions, and our own self-image is just the projection of form, of energy, of vibration within our inner unchanging space. Every thought, every emotion, every sensation, every experience is naturally coming and going. Is not permanent. Is within our space, inner space, and then disappears in its own time. No thought is permanently there. No emotion is permanently there. Even our sense of identity is not permanent within our inner space. Only appears to our attention and then disappears. And as you observe inwardly from the third eye into that sense of inner space within oneself, and seeing that these thoughts, sensations, emotions appear as forms, movements of energy within this inner space, appearing, staying for some time, and then disappearing into that presence, into your own inner space. As you see that occurring, less and less your attention is caught up with these thoughts, with these emotions. And you just see them as a natural movement of life, of energy within oneself. And then there's a shift of perception where instead of continually focusing our attention on the different forms of thought and emotion and identity and its projections, we start to perceive that just sense of space within ourselves. We start to connect to our own presence. We start to connect to that sense of just being aware, existing, being present here and now. And underlying all the movement of thought and experience is just this subtle, forever present sense of presence, sense of existing here and now. That you simply are in this moment. You're simply existing, not as a thought, not as a thought of who you are, I'm this person and this. But before the thought, before that projection of identity, there's just this sense of just being. You still exist beyond the thought, beyond the identity. If you don't let your attention move into any thought in this moment, you still exist. And when you connect to that deeper sense of presence, there's no sense of differentiation of me and this. It's all just one existence, just one presence, one consciousness. And within this inner consciousness, the forms it creates, the thoughts, the sense of identity are unique and changing in nature. They're continually coming afresh within this inner space. But to recognize who you truly are beyond the form, beyond thought, to connect to your eternal nature, your existential presence. To find out who you are beyond time, beyond space, beyond past, beyond future. To recognize the part of you which is always there. And when you allow your attention to rest in that natural presence, there's a natural flowing of peace, calmness, love, joy, deep sense of connection. And not particularly connected with anything, but just feeling that vastness of existence within oneself. Because there's no sense of separation. Only separation exists as you catch on to thought, as you catch on to the identity, as the attention moves to that. So now just moving to the last part of the meditation is simply where you can drop any of the techniques. You can drop the breath technique, the third eye technique. And now it's just simply coming into that recognition and abiding your attention in that space of presence, in that sense that you're simply existing here now. Again, your attention will move to thought, your attention will move to the inner narrative, as it's conditioned within us to move to our sense of identity, me, and these thoughts and emotions and past and future. So just to observe when your attention goes back into that identity and back in how into its reactions with thoughts and emotions. And when you get caught up back into that state of identity and identification and reaction, just to be aware of that. And then bring your attention just to that sense of awareness itself, as that awareness is unaffected by the movement of thought, that inner space within ourselves, that presence, is unaffected by whatever it moves within us, just like the sky is unaffected by the clouds which pass through it. In the same way, our inner space is unaffected by any movement of thought or emotion within it. Only our sense of identity is disturbed by certain thoughts and emotions. As it creates, the identity creates its image of who it is around these thoughts, emotions, the past, the future. So the identity itself is what pushes away and pulls onto certain experiences, emotions, and thoughts. But that inner presence, that inner sense of existence, consciousness within oneself, is unaffected by that movement of thought, emotion, is unaffected by the conditioning within oneself. That part of oneself is pure life, pure existence. It's innocence itself. And then the meditation becomes where you're bringing your attention out into that and abiding in that space, in that recognition, and in that space of being. And each time you get caught up back into the identity and its all conditioned ways and how it reacts to different thoughts and experiences, each time you become aware that, oh, the attention has gone back to this sense of identity, attention is moving back into reacting with thoughts and the past, the future, memories, beliefs. And then you bring your that sense of awareness, that presence to them, to the identity, to the emotions, to the thoughts, and just see them as they are. You don't need to suppress them or reject them in any way, but just see them as movements of form within oneself and hold them in your inner presence. And all forms of energy, all forms of thought, emotion, or like a cycle, they appear, and then in their own time, you just behold them in your own presence, be aware of them without trying to suppress them, and naturally, in their own time, they start to fade away. As you see from this space of presence within oneself, this space of awareness, it naturally perceives through them emotions, it naturally perceives through them thoughts. And then them thoughts and emotions fade away and dissolve back into one's inner space, into one's energies, and back into that silence, that presence within oneself. And then again, another movement appears and then dissolves back into. Recognizing that formless dimension of awareness, presence within oneself, which is unchanging, which is simply there, presence as existence itself, and also recognizing that impulse of energy moving within oneself and creating the form, creating movement of thought, emotion, of time and space, and seeing that expression of energy moving, appearing, and then dissolving back into oneself, and not rejecting any aspect of that. Seeing there's two sides of the same coin: movement and stillness within oneself, form and formless within oneself. This dance of life, of expression of life within oneself. And so now we'll slowly be finishing with the meditation. So now slowly just bringing your attention back to the body, being aware of the entire physical body, being aware of different sensations in the body from head to toe. You can scan your attention from the head down to the toes and from the toes back up to the head. And just being aware of yourself sitting in a particular posture, sitting on a chair or bed, being aware of the position of the body, the sensations in the body, just bringing your attention and awareness back into that body consciousness. And then being aware of the breath coming in and out of the nostrils, and also feeling the breath throughout the body, through the lungs, the diaphragm, abdomen, and then connecting to the external senses, being aware of the sense of touch, of the clothing on the skin, being aware of the earth, feeling your energies and your attention move down the legs, down into the earth, feeling that connection with the earth, releasing any excess energy. And then being aware of any sense of taste or smell you may perceive. Then being aware of sound, the sound of your own breathing, heartbeat, sounds inside, outside the room. And then in your own time, opening your eyes, gently moving the body if you wish. Just coming back into your bodily consciousness, back into your external sense consciousness, but also feeling that deep sense of peace, that deep sense of presence, awareness within oneself, unchanging space within oneself. Even though the perception from the outer world is coming now through the senses, through the eyes, also movement of thoughts within oneself, seeing that, observing that, all occurring within one's inner space. But still recognizing that presence, that peace within oneself, a deeper sense of awareness is always present. Only our attention gets caught up in thought, in the sense of identity and its narrative. And we think a part of the mind thinks it's part of these thoughts, these inner narratives. However, the deeper part of oneself, the existential part of who you are, is always there. It just takes a shift of your attention to recognize that peace, that presence within oneself. And to recognize even the movement of thought, emotion is just a expression of life energy within one's inner consciousness, within one's presence, within one's existence. It's not something that you have to get rid of. Even the idea of the identity as well is just another movement of thought. So after this session, take your time if necessary, drink some water, take some food, fruit to help ground you. And also recognize, as it's therapeutic in nature, it can bring up certain emotions and thoughts, which you maybe just need to just be aware of and introspect within, and just give yourself that time and space if necessary. Next, there'll be another session next Sunday at 2 p.m. And also the next week there's a one-to-one session open as well on a Tuesday, I think it is. Yeah, it's on Meetup. Also, I've got the few events for whoever's in Leicester. There's one next Saturday. There's a sound bath, and then there's one with a joint one with Emma on the 25th of March. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, you can ask through the live chat on YouTube, or you can share via the chat option on Zoom, or leave a message on the chat option, or you can open your mic up and you can ask any questions if anybody has any. If not, there's no problem. Okay.
I just want to say thank you. I'm suffering with an ear infection at the moment.
Yeah.
Trying to drown out the noise of the oil refinery.
Okay.
And now I've given myself an ear infection through doing that. So I hope you can, if that's okay, send me some healing for that. And just thank you for this afternoon, Priyesh.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming, and hope you enjoyed it. And I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
I got a
Oh,
one-to-one coming up, but see, if there's
yeah, I'm trying to join it.
Yeah.
My meetup is slow. I'm trying to put my name down for it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But we haven't had a call lately, have we? So if we can book one, if I don't get on the
Okay.
one-to-one, can we do that, please?
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But
Okay.
awesome.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, and you. Lots of love. Thank
See
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Steve.
Thanks.
See you later. Okay.
Thanks, Priyesh.
Thanks, my love. See you later.
Later.
Bye. Anything you wish?